Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com. Hey, stuffed back in here in the tiny studio answering questions again for the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. So, going back to our buddy Jim Pierce, who asked about making Queen's Cut from apple brandy to potentially make absinthe. He sent another email that had some interesting points of view in it, and I had a few more things I thought I could add to the conversation, so I figure I'll do as such here. So, wanted to reach out and let you know what my train of thought was on making absinthe from apple brandy tails. By the way, I think that's brilliant, and obviously in the video I think we discussed that, and I do think it's a great idea. When you and Jesse, that'd be Jesse from, why am I like this? Why can't I remember anything? It would be Jesse from Still It. Get it out, Alan. Still It. Half the people on it, more than half the people on this channel wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jesse. Get his channel name right. Moving on. Middle of the week, long day, a little tired. So, anyways, when you and Jesse of Still It, we're talking about absinthe and how it was originally made with a high-run brandy as its base. I've been playing with brandies lately and have noticed the sweet water and the high volume of tails you get. With my grape tails, I've been running them with the next wash since they are from Concord grapes and make for a very grapey brandy. The apple brandy made me think of the white grape brandy you described, but with an apple flavor. Smart. My apple brandy is made using apples chunked like you did, but to increase the sugar and liquid levels, I use juice and concentrate until I get 5 to 8% beer reading for specific gravity. Also incredibly smart, replacing any amount of water with actual juice or a concentrate in order to further push those flavors to the forefront. So far, I really like it. Liked it so much I didn't know if I wanted to distill it a second time or possibly change the flavor by putting tails in the next run. I have also read about a lot of guys tossing tails. This plus the wife asking if I could make Jägermeister got me to thinking, what if I could make an absinthe with a Queen's Cut from the tails? There's a little bit more to this and I'll get to it momentarily, but I want to say this. Guys, if you're making all grain and you're going to be aging stuff, or you're making actual fruit brandy, and even if you're just doing fruit brandy as a white spirit, don't toss those tails, right? Either run them in the next batch for consistency and flavor, or save them like our friend Jim here is, and rerun them as a Queen's Cut. I promise you, they're worth saving. They're worth putting back in the still, even if it is a small amount of alcohol. The quality you will get from it on a double pot still distillation will absolutely amaze you guys. I'm telling you. Just trust me on this one if you don't trust me on anything else, okay? I would never throw out brandy tails unless they'd been setting for some time, they oxidized and had a little VA to them, because at low proof they can do that. Also, that sweet water that he mentioned here, I mentioned it many times on the channel. The stuff down below 20 proof on your doubling run, specifically between, say, 10 and 15, right? If you can get a hold of some of that stuff and hold on to it for proofing down with, or even fortify a little bit and put it in a barrel and mature it of its own accord to proof your mainline stuff down with later on, there's so many great flavors there that so many distillers, not just home distillers, but even professional distillers with the equipment that's really efficient to get that stuff out, they miss out on it completely because they don't understand it, they don't know about it, etc. I'm trying to tell you guys some things that even on the professional side, a lot of people I talk to, they don't know or they don't understand, because I think a lot of you guys are going to go on to become, to some degree, craft professional distillers. That's my hope anyways. So going back to his email, was thinking that perhaps, excuse me, the apple and some of the sweet might be retained in a high-proof Queen's run, and a distillate like that might add sweet and a subtle fruitiness without having to add either. I also like the efficiency aspect, there's the key, and it struck me that if I was a small distiller in the Alps, I would probably not want to waste anything. Thus, if I can make value from a waste product, it's a win-win. You are 100% right, and this is part of the thing about traditional distillation, right? Don't be afraid to play around with things even if you don't see any historical proof of it. The thing that I always try to do when I'm approaching something from a traditional distiller's point of view and perspective is to step back and look at it as such. If I were in a situation where life was much different than it is now, and I couldn't go to Amazon or I couldn't go to BSG or wherever you're going to get supplies, right? How would I treat these distillates, right? How would I treat them both from an efficiency standpoint and a quality standpoint? And if you find an answer that makes logical sense, it's likely that they did that at one point in time. And so you're staying true to the art and the craft of that tradition in particular. Just because it wasn't written down doesn't mean it didn't happen, for sure. So, glad you like the idea, and I'll let you know how it goes. Once I start on it, I will send you the recipe and what I did. Wish me luck. I absolutely wish you luck, and I cannot wait to see what you do. I also want to throw this out there because I don't remember if I addressed this with Jesse or if I've addressed it on the channel with Botanical Spirits. So I worked at a large brandy distillery for a couple years, and that large brandy distillery made 4 different absinthe varietals and some gin and various other things. But we did not take the base brandy through double pot still distillation prior to making our absinthe or our gin, meaning that we had a much heavier bodied spirit at an average of 135 proof with a lot more brandy flavor to it. And there was nothing wrong with that. You just had to build your botanical build around that so that the fruit didn't overwhelm the botanicals and the botanicals didn't overwhelm the fruit. So we use Muscat and Colombard in particular in the absinthes. Muscat is a big, bold, heavy, terpene forward, crazy, especially Muscat Alexander, crazy brandy distillate that I absolutely love. It's very, very perfumey. For those of you in the Midwest, Catawba brandy would get pretty close to it if you were able to get it at the right ripeness and the right pH out of the field. It'd get real close to it. And we had to work around that Muscat to hold on to the positive aspects of that Muscat and balance it with the positive aspects of the botanicals. The same thing with some of the apple-based projects that we did, including a gin. We did a single strip run on the apple, macerated the botanicals, and then redistilled that into a gin. And we had to, again, work around how do you hold on to the apple flavor and also the botanical flavor. So this, what he's talking about here in particular, is not out of the realm of a very fine, qualitative, aromatic, perfumed spirit, even if it is using the Queen's Cut, right? This can all be done. It could be done a few different ways. The preferred method, I think, here, because he's dealing with low-proof tails, is specifically to run those tails up to a higher proof, right? But you're still holding on to a lot of that flavor because they are tails. Even at a higher proof, they're going to have more flavor than what a high-proof actual brandy would have, because they're not going to be able to be cleaned up as much, and aromatically there's going to be more there. That'd be the preferred method. The other method would be that you could macerate into the actual tails themselves, then redistill the whole thing. Although I do suspect that lower proof and the higher proportion of water, if you macerate it directly into the tails, is going to change that botanical profile quite a bit, because different elements are going to be solved in different ways with ethanol versus water and the various proofs of the ethanol. So anyways, Jim, I look forward to your experiment and seeing what you come up with, and I'm excited about it, man. Good luck with it. And listen, if anybody out there has questions, bishopshomegrown@gmail.com, any of my social media, YouTube comments below, and please go to thealchemistcabinet.com. Check out our store, the warehouse over there. Purchase some stuff. It all goes back into this channel, and as well as If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything podcast, and supports everything that me and my wife are trying to do with our passions in life and with helping out folks like you. So love y'all. Be careful out there in your still house. And as we say on Distillers Talk, keep the still fires burning. Later.